back, and we turn to the situation in Israel with this headline coming from ultisrael.com. Netanyahu threatens IDF will resume intense fighting if hostages not released by Saturday. The IDF announces reinforcement of troops and mobilization of reservists in preparation for return to fighting. So following the ultimatum by President Donald Trump on Monday, calling for all hostages to be released by Saturday at noon or the ceasefire would be called off, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu echoed that call on Tuesday evening. He said in an official statement, quote, "I have just finished an in-depth 4-hour security cabinet meeting. We all expressed outrage over the shocking state of our 3 hostages who were released last Saturday. We all welcomed President Trump's demand to release our hostages by Saturday noon as well, and we all welcomed the president's revolutionary vision for the future of Gaza." So Joel Rosenberg, who is the editor-in-chief of All Israel News, and you can find that at ultisrael.com, and also follow him on X at Joel C. Rosenberg, joins me now. So, Joel, I think we were all shocked at the pictures and the videos of these hostages being returned. I mean, just the stunning contrast between what these individuals looked like before and after their absolutely horrendous captivity is just horrific.
It is, Jenna. These images really look like the Holocaust survivors coming out of Auschwitz in 1945. This is creating a new level of trauma, of shock inside Israel. You know, we have this expression that not only Jews, but Christians and people of goodwill all over the world have been saying since 1945, never again. And yet for almost 500 days, Israeli and American and other nationality hostages have been held in these terror dungeons, and they are being tortured, and the women are being sexually abused, and they are all being starved, and we are seeing near skeletons coming out. Some of the hostages have been treated a little bit better than others, but these last 3 men that came out, these are emaciated men who have been nearly starved to death. And I am grateful to President Trump, who is not taking this anymore. He's sickened by it. And then when Hamas said on Monday that they're going to stop even releasing hostages based on alleged Israeli violations of the ceasefire deal, Trump had it. And he said, forget it. Everybody has to be out. Every hostage has to be out by noon on Saturday, or the ceasefire is over and all hell will be unleashed and Israel will be free to go in and crush Hamas once and for all. And, you know, I don't know why. I can't explain why President Biden never had the wherewithal, the courage, the moral fortitude to say something like that. God bless President Trump.
Yeah, amen for that. And I think these pictures and seeing the condition of these hostages just created an even greater sense of urgency, because you're right, I think, to analogize this to Holocaust survivors. I mean, there are very few things in modern American history that, you know, we can rightly compare to that era. And of course, you know, the left would love to compare Trump to being a Nazi and all this ridiculous stuff. But that comparison is so apt that this has created an even greater sense of urgency. So where does that leave Hamas? Because as your piece mentions, it's unlikely that they will meet that Saturday deadline.
Well, All Israel News has been trying to, cover this from multiple angles, and it is a complex story. But in this case, here's the main issue. Hamas is playing a game. The game is they took hostages, they tortured them, they sexually abused them, they are starving them, and then they are releasing them in dribs and drabs, a little bit here, a little bit there. Why? They're releasing them only to get terrorists, Hamas and other radical Islamist Palestinian terrorists, out of Israeli prisons. Terrorists who have blood on their hands, who've murdered in some cases dozens of Israelis, who've raped Israelis, who've tortured Israelis, and so Hamas is using innocent hostages as pawns to get actual convicted bloodthirsty terrorists. And so now Israel didn't want to do it. President Trump got the deal done. He's like, and he said to Netanyahu, look, I get you don't want to do this. I get it, but I'm with you. And I'm going to help you one step at a time. It's not like Biden. Those days are over. This idea of tying one hand behind your back, not giving you the weapons you need, not giving you the political and moral support that you need to get the job done. No. But President Trump, through Steve Witkoff, this really impressive new special envoy to the Middle East, basically was able to say to Netanyahu, look, you're going to make a bad deal. I get it, but we're with you, and you're not going to be abandoned on the other side. But as this deal has started to unravel, in which Hamas is, again, playing even worse games, and you can see now, in the first few hostages, they were in not good shape, but they weren't as bad as these three men. And so this just fueled President Trump's anger and his sympathy, anger against Hamas, sympathy for Israel, and saying, no, we are not playing this game, not with the United States, not with our ally. It's over. And this is the type of moral outrage that we could have used for almost 500 days prior. But hey, Trump is here, and you can't accuse Trump of not trying to make a good deal. He made the best deal he could. We've gotten about 20 hostages out so far. But here's the other question that we have to ask. We don't know, you and I, Jenna, as we talk. U.S. intelligence probably knows. Israeli intelligence probably knows how many live hostages are left. Now, we want every single one of them out, but the clock is ticking, and Trump is putting a deadline. You could say he's taking a risk. You could say he's risking the lives of the other live hostages, but their lives are already at risk. And this is, Trump is basically saying we're not going to be treated this way. Our ally will not be treated this way. But then you've got lots of other complications we haven't even got to yet, which is Jordan, Egypt, the future of Gaza. There's a lot. This is a Rubik's Cube that Trump is trying to solve, and it is not easy.
You're absolutely right about that. Jill Rosenberg, my special guest this morning, editor-in-chief of All Israel News. You can find all of those great headlines at allisrael.com. And that is a very important question of how many are left. I think we have kind of a ballpark number, but I think that also raises potentially the possibility that Hamas could offer a few hostages and say that's it, that's all that remain in order to try to still keep this ceasefire deal in place. I mean, what are we kind of expecting potentially as some scenarios for their response before Saturday noon?
Well, this is the question that we've been struggling with as Israelis, is that everybody has sort of feared that, in the deal that would have released a total of 38 hostages, 33 Israelis and 5 Thai hostages, and the 5 Thai hostages have been released, and the American Israeli that was held hostage, Keith Siegel, he has been released, so that's good. We're grateful for all that have come out, but we've always feared in Israel that not all 33 or 38 in the first round would be alive, and so we've been waiting for what's the moment that we're going to see body bags come out or coffins. Now, one of the biggest questions is, where is the Bibas family? The father of this beautiful young family, Yarden Bibas, was released. But he was released, and his wife and his 2 beautiful sons, redhead, just adorable sons. One was 9 months old when he was taken hostage. One was a little over 2 years old or 3 years old. Anyway, they are nowhere to be seen. They should have been released first. Where are they? Where is this mother? Where is the Bibas mother? Where are these Bibas boys? A mother and 2 babies should have been released in the first release. Where are they? Hamas won't tell us. So again, this is the type of craziness. This is so wicked. It's so evil, and it's gone on for 500 days, and we're all fearing that they're dead, and we don't know. But this idea of Trump projecting strength and saying, look, we are not doing this. We are not letting Hamas run the world. It's not going to happen. This is such a breath of fresh air. President Trump's press conference with Benjamin Netanyahu, the most pro-Israel press conference in a White House in history. It was astonishing. There is no daylight anymore between Israel and the United States. There's no twisting Israel's arm as though Israel's the problem here. There's no, demanding Israel give a ceasefire, which means really surrender to Hamas. No, there was a projection of American strength, American leadership. In fact, I've never seen Benjamin Netanyahu so happy. I've personally known him for 25 years. We're not close, but I worked for him briefly 25 years ago, and I've met with him over the years and tracked his career. I've never seen him so happy because he finally has an actual robust ally who's not going to take any crap from the world's worst terrorist organization. And then there's all the other things that Trump is saying. Look, we're not going to wait for the rest of the world to harass Netanyahu about what's the day after plan. Netanyahu's dealing with today, and today is trying to get our hostages out and defeat this terrorist organization. So Trump showed leadership. He said, you know what? The Arabs haven't come up with a plan to fix Gaza, and the UN hasn't, and the European Union hasn't, and NATO hasn't, and nobody has, so I will. And, is it going to be easy? No, but we're going to get this thing done. And Trump started to lay out a vision that is shocking. Now, you could talk about some of the details. I don't know if we have the time, but the point is, this is American leadership. This is, all right, we'll fix it. No one else will step forward in almost 500 days. We will do it, and we will stand by our ally. And in the end, as much respect as I have for these Arab leaders and the Arab people, and I know many of these Arab leaders personally. Me, Joel, I know them, and I am sympathetic for their position. But where's your plan? You haven't fixed this thing. You haven't offered one creative solution. And the president is in the game now. He's like, then it's going to be my solution. And my solution is going to be best for my ally, Israel. I have other allies, Arab allies, but you guys haven't stepped up. These are Arabs in Gaza. You're not offering to take them. You're not offering to help them. You're not even offering to pay. So we're going to change that. That is leadership. And they're all set on their heels, these Arab leaders. My friend King Abdullah of Jordan yesterday, President al-Sisi isn't even going to show up. He was invited to the White House, and now he's not going to show up because Trump wants him to take 1 million or maybe even 2 million and build housing in the Sinai, which is a massive swath of unpopulated territory. President al-Sisi doesn't want to do it. Okay, well, then there's going to be some consequences, President Trump is saying. So there's a lot going on here. And then we've got, you could put these refugees in Syria. You could put them in other countries. But how is it possible that Palestinians who are traumatized in Gaza and live in an apocalyptic wasteland of their own making, of Hamas's own making, why is it exactly that no Arab country will open their doors and say, we will help you. We will take care of you. We will show compassion. Literally you have to say trapped, locked up in Gaza. And whether it's a temporary transition or not, nobody's willing to help. Trump is really exposing some serious problems in the Arab world right now, some hypocrisy when it comes to compassion. There's all this criticism of Israel, but there's 500 million Arabs. No leader of one of these countries is willing to say, yes, I will help. I'm astonished, but more astonished that Trump is showing such impressive leadership after, the contrast between Biden and Trump every day of the last 3 or 4 weeks has been so astonishing. It's really pretty impressive, but we got to keep praying because it's not easy, and the way forward is not going to be an easy path.
Yeah, absolutely. And I could not agree more, Joel Rosenberg, that the contrast between Trump and Biden is just literally day and night in every single respect in any issue that we're discussing over the last 3 weeks.
Mexico, Canada, Panama, Greenland, China, wow. Trump, the Gulf of America, Trump is asserting American, not just leadership, but dominance. We are a superpower again. We're not acting like a superpower until January 20th. And now suddenly the superpower is back.
America is back, and that's actually the the flag banner across all of the social media accounts that are official Trump 47, and the White House account, the POTUS account, the press secretary is "America is back," and I think a lot of us really feel that. And before I let you go, Joel Rosenberg, I wanted to ask one more question about Trump's leadership and vision for Gaza specifically. There have been some mixed reactions to what he's proposing for the Gaza.
That's a gentle way to put the mixed reactions. I like that. You're quite a diplomat there, Jenna.
Trying hard, but where do you fall in that spectrum of reactions on how serious some of these proposals are? Or is this more a negotiation tactic?
Well, I've been meeting with Arab officials in the region and here in Washington in recent weeks. I've been meeting with senior administration officials, and my impression is that I don't know. Let me start out by saying I think President Trump's instincts are very powerful and impressive. He is showing compassion for the Palestinians of Gaza. Right? He's saying, look, I just sent Steve Witkoff in and he evaluated the situation. He said, it's an apocalyptic wasteland. You can't build this thing out in 3 years. It's going to take 10 to 15. So we're going to clear it. We're going to rebuild it. We're going to secure it. We're going to make it fantastic. Gaza's going to be fantastic, Jenna. And Gaza, we're going to make Gaza great again. Yeah, Gaza was never great, but we're going to make it great. So that's compassion. He's not doing it to be mean. He's doing it because he's like, there is no other way. I know how to do real estate, and you can't have a land of unexploded ordnance and live ammunition and buildings about to collapse and tunnels about to collapse. You can't have 2 million people just walking around in there. Plus, they need homes, they need air conditioning, they need heat, they need water, they need sanitation. I think we're seeing Trump's, compassion, his heart. Now, where I can't tell you, does he really mean that he's going to move 2 million Palestinians out and they're never going to go back? That's what he told Bret Baier on Fox. That's what has got the Arab leaders upset. It's not that they don't appreciate, the Arab leaders do appreciate, let's put it in the positive, Trump's wanting to take the lead. They're totally good with that. King Abdullah's good with that. President Sisi's good with that. What they don't want to see is displacement permanently. But they don't even seem to want a displacement, Palestinians moving out even for 10 years while it's rebuilding. That's the problem. That's where Trump is sort of revealing that their attitude, which is, wait, 5 million, you guys all took in 5 million Syrians when there was a catastrophe there. You're not going to take in any Palestinians? So my point is, this is a question that I don't know the answer. Is he, Trump often puts out what looks like an extreme bargaining position that everybody goes, oh, that's crazy. And then they all retreat to a bold position. And he's like, good. All right, I'll take it. And he gets something far bolder, far more bold than his interlocutor would have agreed to the day before, because it all feels like a retreat from something crazy. That's what just happened with Mexico and Canada, right? I'm going to impose 25% tariffs Tuesday, and that's it. You guys aren't going to play ball and make a better deal. Fine. And then they get all nervous. Then they negotiate. And then he gets something better than he would have gotten. Same thing with Panama. We're going to take over the Panama Canal. We didn't give it to the Chinese. It's not going to happen. But then suddenly Rubio goes down there, and the Panamanian president goes, oh, fine. We'll leave China. We'll come back to the United States, and the embrace of the United States. Good. This is the world starting to listen. Now, is that what Trump means when it comes to Gaza? I'm not sure, but he certainly has a maximalist position that's causing everybody to go, what's going on? And Rubio made an interesting point. He said, he said it on XM radio the other day. He said, Trump's the only one who has a plan. If you have a better plan in the Arab world, put it forward. We're willing to listen. But this idea that you're going to do nothing and you're going to berate Israel for not having a plan, these are Arab citizens. These are Arab people. These are Palestinians. How come you guys don't have a plan? Put it forward. Now, the Egyptians say they're going to put a plan together, but President Sisi has just canceled a trip to come and meet with the president. That's not good. I like President Sisi of Egypt. I respect him. this is not a good idea. He should be getting on a plane and coming here to talk to the president. You don't get yourself in a position where you are seen as an American ally who won't talk to the president of the United States. There's a new sheriff in town, and he does not like being disrespected, nor should he. Trump, if the Egyptians have a plan, wonderful. Lay it out. Talk to the president, but don't blow him off. That is not going to go well for the people of Egypt.
Well said. Well, Jill Rosenberg, always appreciate your insights as always, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this new sheriff in town handles the foreign policy on the world stage. But this is a demand, basically, that at least that Israel is respected and that hopefully the hostages will be returned. And I am so grateful for that contrast between Trump and Biden. We need a U.S. president that is strong on Israel, strong on all of these things, strong on America first, of course, and in all of these different subject matters, this could not be a better contrast between Trump and Biden.
Amen.
So